Now, this morning we were blessed to listen to Dr. Elena Espinal and Dr. Stephen Murphy Shigematsu from the Americas. Now we are making our way towards where we are, Thailand, with a stop somewhere between Belgium and Ethiopia to welcome a magnificent provocateur, someone who is all about service and human rights, someone who does that through coaching, leadership, training, and writing, who's got some 20 years over of experience in training and coaching, and who started her career with working with civil war survivors and with women surviving in red light districts and with also communities living in very precarious conditions in Africa. We are very blessed and honored to welcome her today. Dr. Yene Assegid, please put your hands together to welcome Yene on stage.
Don't make me shy now. Thank you. Is it loud? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm hearing myself too much. Okay. I'm going to take a deep breath because it's very impressive to see you all this way. Maybe you can also take a deep breath. Okay. I'd like to start, before we start the session, I'd like to have 30 minutes in remembrance of His Majesty, the late King of Thailand. So if you could close your eyes and just for 30 seconds, remember him and bless him. Thank you. And, oh, that's my alarm. Is it my alarm? No? Somebody's alarm? Okay, same sound. The wedding, before my wedding, we had 3 weddings in my family in the past 10 years. And mine was, there was one wedding of my uncle, mine, and then my niece. The wedding of my uncle had a guest list of 5,000 plus people. They were all family. I come from a very, very large family. We're huge. I'm related to most people. And so coming from this large family, it makes you sort of a different person. And the reason why I talk about this is because it has shaped me in who I am. My grandmother was the person holding this family together. In her home, there were 3 running kitchens because there was a turnover of about 100 people a day, every day. And anybody who comes has to have a meal and a drink, and then we talk. It's only at her funeral that I found out, and many of my family members found out, that many of the people who came, we were not really related to. They were coming to seek her help. She never told us. They were high-level officials, there were business people, religious people, people from the communities, from the rural areas. It was no big deal. She had her chair and she would say, "Sit down. How are you doing? Have you eaten? What would you like to do? How can I help? How's your mother? How's your wife?" And this is how it started. When I found this out, she passed away in 2008. People were telling me, you know, my conversation with your mother, it changed my life. Somebody would come, because of her, I'm out of an abusive situation. Because of her, I found a job and I raised my children. Because of her, because of her, because of her. Wow. I didn't know. I had no idea. So with this in the backdrop, when I was a small child, backtrack a little bit, I was a straight D student. D all the way. Because I was busy. I was busy playing in my grandmother's compound. I was busy girl. And then my world changed. We moved to Brussels because of the war, the civil war. The emperor was overthrown. Brutality, war, death, bullets, blood. We had to sleep on the floor to avoid stray bullets. And I was 8 when I boarded the flight, and I think when I disembarked, I was an adult in an 8-year-old body. It was traumatic. And since then, I just wanted to go back home. That was the only goal, go back. I wanted to wake up on Sunday, have breakfast with my grandmother, play with my friends, and I became a straight A student. Not because I was smarter, but there was a purpose to it. Just finish quick, go back and work. Eventually, fast forward some years, I managed to go back. I left the corporate world in the United States. I had a very good life. I really had a really good life. Everything you wanted, I had it. And I ended up being the person responsible to roll out a program for in the red light district with women surviving from prostitution. My job was to help them decide, do you want to stay in this work or do you want to get out? If you stay, let's make it safe for you. If you want to get out, let's get you out. This was my start of coaching. It was 1997. I had no idea how to coach. I had business school behind me, but so you know what I did is I just called my grandmother. What do I do? Just show up. Okay. I lived abroad so long people could see from my accent that I'm not really local. I'm not afraid of the red light district. Actually, I felt more safe there than I feel anywhere else. But the problem was that if I did it wrong, these women could risk being infected with HIV/AIDS, being subjected to violence, dying. So the stakes are not about getting a job or getting a promotion. It's a little higher than that. It gave me a lot of stress. And my grandmother said, you know, it's not about you. It's about them. It's not even about them as a person, them as the problem itself, but them as a person, the potential in them. You're there to serve their potential. It's not about you. So if it's not about you, there's no stress. I'm supposed to be a blank sheet of paper, a canvas, for them to think from, to reflect from. That was my job. That's what I learned from her. And I would call her on a regular basis. Sometimes in difficult situations because you have women who come who are badly beaten or it was hard. And you just have to rise up and say, what do I ask? You know, in coaching, we talk about powerful questions at a theoretical level. And we say, what can I ask? But now it's more like, what should I say? Am I supposed to give her a tissue, cry with? And my grandmother said, no, it's not about you. You're there to serve. You're not there to please, you're there to serve. Get on with it. I love my grandmother. By the way, she was a sharpshooter. She was trained in theology, philosophy, and art of war. She could handle firearms very well. And she had a sense of humor. So she would say, get on with it. And that's what I learned from her. We started in the red light district with about 10 women. By the time I left, we had over 6,000 women who, you know, when you talk to somebody and say, I'm not judging you, do what you need to do, I understand. Let me help you, let me support you. What can I do? What do you need to move forward? One time we were driving back, so of course, red light district, we worked in the night. What is it? Like 8 p.m. to 2, 3 a.m. And we're driving by, and I saw one young adolescent girl who was in our program, and it was on the street. She was being beaten up on the street by the police. And there was a big man standing there, you know, while she's being beaten. So I stopped and I said, why are you beating her? I said, she's our student. And he said, student. He said, water, I'm trying to translate. He said, water would go faster into a stone than knowledge in her head. And you say, wow. And she was on the floor saying, you know, he just got me drunk so that I could have sex without protection. I'm not doing that. She was in our program. She was one of our coachees. She's like, I'm not doing that. And as a coach, what do you say? I say, you know what, she's our student. And then you have to get it in you. And I said, well, you know, you see the car over there? There's a camera filming everything. Tomorrow it's going to be on TV if you don't let her go. There was no camera. I was bluffing. He said, what camera? I said, it's okay, keep beating her. Yeah, make sure you record it where, yeah, thank you. So little do you know, things happen in there, but it wasn't about me. It's about saying, serve. And this is when you serve for humanity. It's not about me being a coach or saying, I have a client or I don't have a client, but it's about saying, in this lifetime, why am I here on this earth? What will be different because I lived 50 years, 60 years, whatever, however long I live? What will be different? How many ripples of goodness would have happened because I did what I did in benefit of someone's potential? Earlier this morning, Dr. Stefan mentioned about loyalty and service to the master. In my community in Ethiopia, it's very important. As someone who serves, so technically a servant, your pride comes in which master are you serving? It's like, whose child are you? Whose child are you? Who are you, really? And in my language, we say Fatari, and Fatari means the creator. That's who we are loyal to, and that's who we serve. So it doesn't matter what I think, it doesn't matter what you think. My only purpose is to serve the best I can, because you can't really fool the creator. The creator knows if you're doing your best or not. So as coaches, when we serve for humanity, it's really about asking ourselves, who am I serving? Am I serving myself, feeling good about hearing somebody tell me about their problems, and in the back of my head I'm saying, oof, thank God that's not me. Tell me more. I use a lot of, nowadays, I've had the courage to come out with my spirituality. For a long time I didn't, because spirituality and business was not going together. But I find that I need the spirituality to stay in integrity to this service. I pray before every coaching I do. I pray after every coaching I do, to give grace and to give thanks. My prayers are not long and complicated. Just giving thanks, just asking for guidance. And this keeps me on track. It allows me to go through the difficult challenges, and it allows me to serve even beyond what I know. At some point, we lived in Sierra Leone in West Africa. I don't know if you're familiar with it. The civil war was between 91 and 2002. Has anybody seen the movie Blood Diamond? Hands up. I lived there. We moved there a little bit after the end of the Civil War. And again, we were hesitating. Our children were small, 3 and 5. My husband's employer was saying, it's not a family post. And I said, if we have to be there, let's go. And you get there and you find people that have been injured by cutting, the traces of the war. And again, you have to say, how can I serve? What can I do? And I started working with the former child soldiers. Again, not that I know anything. We met because they stole my bag. And I went back up to them and said, you can't steal my bag. I could be your auntie. You don't want an angry auntie running after you. It was amazing work. But there's not too much time to go in length about it. And maybe in the hallways we can talk about it. But I just want to tell you that even in that situation, when you're faced in front of somebody and you're working with them, that we don't get stuck to the word coaching, that we can drop the word and say, I'm here to enable you reach your potential. What can I do? And you are part of me as much as I'm part of you, right? So what can I do for you? What would you like to do? How can I hold you accountable? Again, it's about knowing that I'm here to serve the Creator. I'm not here to serve anybody else. Nothing else matters. Life is short. So when we show up in service for humanity, when our Master is the Creator, we have nothing else to do but to show up. Doesn't matter. You don't need recommendations, connections, business cards, that you're willing to say, I'm here to serve. Wherever you want me, I will be, and I know you will take me there. I'm here to serve. And in this way, we can serve humanity. And I think as coaches, we have a unique opportunity to touch the lives of people very deeply and to create huge positive ripples. And so with this, I will leave you by saying that it's a pleasure to be here to celebrate AIPAC's 10th anniversary for harmony and mindfulness for humanity. It's amazing. And I wish you safe travels home and blessings.